What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com. Go over there, get all of your wrestling news, podcasts, exclusives, and lots more. We also have a great resources section. Make sure you guys check that out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel here at youtube.com/Fightful. Our boxing and MMA one is at youtube.com/Fightful MMA Boxing. Show us a little bit of love. This show brought to you by FightfulSelect.com. Right now, for Tier 2 members, I have my match ratings up early. I post a ton of early access content up there for Tier 2 members. Have some news on Krista Joseph and Lucha Underground. Had what match Becky Lynch was going to be in on SmackDown ahead of that. Have an exclusive on Gerald Briscoe trying to recruit a UFC fighter. Some issues with recent call-ups. Lashley's MMA future. Lots of neat stuff over there. If you all don't want to subscribe to Fightful Select but still want to support Fightful.com, head over to iTunes, whether you listen on iTunes or not. Leave us a nice review. I have learned recently how much that helps. But FightfulSelect.com, the most direct way to support us. We have tons of podcasts, dozens a month for you guys. So make sure you all check that out. It is January 15th. We got SmackDown Live to talk about. Alex, we saw a slapper of a match tonight.
Yeah, it was a slapper. It was a banger, a smasher, a knocker of slobber. It was amazing.
Yeah. I've got a lot of references I could use for a Blue Chew segue this week. And I'm just going to hope they carry over to next week because I pick what shows those advertise on now. And when I got halfway through this one, I was like, I should have picked tonight.
Yeah.
Really should have went with tonight. Lots of beef, lots of buns, lots of meat on this show. There was a lot I liked about this show, and there was a lot of ridiculous about this show. Myself and Alex are going to try to do it as best we can.
Yeah.
So this show starts off with Becky Lynch in the parking garage. Now, or the indoor parking garage of or the parking area of the venue. I do like, and this will be a theme later on in the night, Alex, I like that they're taking us out of the standard backstage area, the standard office area, and the standard ringside area. Yeah. That I enjoy. This was a little curious. Kayla Braxton didn't really get much done here. She tried to interview Becky. Becky said, "Am I ready for Asuka? Here's my keys."
I think it is. I mean, I don't know if this is the reaction I'm supposed to have, but my reaction to Kayla Braxton waiting for Becky to show up just so she can ask her the trademarked question, "Are you ready for Asuka?" in such an obviously stilted way makes me just think that, oh, the people you have working for you, Vince, are stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to think that, but if you've given your interviewers carte blanche to ask these questions, journalistically, and the best they can come up with is, "Becky, are you in fact ready for Asuka?" then they're stupid. But I did love the touch of, "Here, why don't you be my valet since you suck at being a journalist?" I thought that was good.
That's why everybody's trying to get me to park their car, I guess.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right.
There were several things throughout this show that reinforced this line of thinking, Alex, about who works for WWE, not me, although I constantly reinforce that.
Right.
But backstage, we see New Day and Heavy Machinery, and they're putting together shakes of some sort, tuna with pancakes.
Yes.
And I had a lot of people, when I said, "Man, I am over Heavy Machinery as a main roster act already," they say, wow, you expected it to be more than comedy? No, I expect comedy to be funny.
Yeah. No, the problem is that I mean, if you've been watching Heavy Machinery in NXT, they're a comedy act, sure, but they still win matches. They still have matches. At one point, Otis Dozovich had a competitive match for the NXT championship versus Tommaso Ciampa. He's good. Here's the deal. I think that Vince goes, "Hey, that guy's short and fat and he can make funny sounds. So that's your whole character now." And that's the problem with Vince getting shiny new toys is that The toys have all of these options on them, all these buttons, all of these settings, but he just likes to push the button that makes the fart noise. And he thinks that's hilarious, and he won't use any of the other options on his new toy. And the fart noise is funny. Someone's going to keep pushing that fart noise button. And that's how you get Otis going, ha!
Did you ever see those things at Spencer's Gift back in the day? It had the finger on the pulley, and when you would hit the button, it would go, fuck you! Yeah. Fuck you! That's what he's doing over and over again. I don't doubt that Heavy Machinery can be entertaining. I've seen them be entertaining, even though they aren't exactly my thing.
Right.
Becky Lynch takes a drink of the pancake and tuna shake and says, weak, which I thought was fitting for her. She is the man.
I did love it. It was not just pancakes, tuna, and then whole eggs that he put in the blender, ran it, and then drank some of it. And he gave it to Becky, and she drank some of it. I just wanted her to say, no, needs more eggshell. As though this is a recipe that she condones, but he just made it wrong. Like she's great, and anything she does is fantastic. I thought this was good. Not great, but like at some point, I know they had this terrible, thing that they had with the Colognes last week. At some point, you put Heavy Machinery in the ring. I love their finisher, that fall forward slam being like pressed on by the guy holding it. I think that's cool. And as soon as Otis starts doing the worm in front of crowds, like he's going to get super over without having to just go blah, 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 and be like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, if that becomes his thing, good, more power to him. Don't know what to make. Don't know if they'll be working anytime soon based on what we heard about the Cologne match or not.
Yeah.
It was a big surprise to several within WWE that they appeared on Raw and SmackDown after that match last week. But hey, I hope that they get another chance and they can do something good, because maybe they can come up with something better, because whatever they got for a lot of these call-ups isn't good right now. It's bad. And the lack of preparation is really showing.
They don't have anything for most of them. I mean, Lacey, as far as I know, didn't appear tonight, did she?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I missed that.
She was backstage watching the Becky Lynch Peyton Royce match, but we'll get to that. Becky Lynch hits the ring and says everybody's trying to be her since she's coming to her own. Asuka comes down and screams a lot since that's her thing. Really no reason for it. The Iconics interrupt. I cannot wait for promos during an eventual Iconics championship title reign.
Yes.
That's one of the things I'm most excited for. And whatever reason WWE had to not have women's tag titles last year, it's a shitty reason.
Yeah.
It's a real bad reason. Because you had these girls, you had Sasha and Bayley, you had Absolution doing nothing for months. You had Ruby Riott, thankfully, there to help glue together what semblance of women's programs they had, but she was like losing to everybody. Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, but I did like when they called her Bossy Becky and said, typical behavior of a man. I was like, well played. Well played.
Well done.
They're say they're going to win the Rumble and the tag titles. Becky says to Asuka, you want to see what the hype is about? We'll find it out. Becky wrestling in a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. She punches Peyton right in the throat instead of shaking her hand. This was not a great match.
No.
Becky works the arm well, gets yanked into the ropes, comes back with a shoulder block. A lot of Peyton working over Becky, some mistimed spots and some light strikes from Peyton, followed by punches from Becky. A disarm her mercifully ends it. Got much to say about this match? Peyton hasn't really had a good one-on-one singles match on SmackDown yet.
No, but I mean, Peyton and Billie, the Iconics, they're heavy machinery for the women's division. They're never going to be utilized as actual performers. They may get a tag title run. I don't know if they ever will. They certainly will get programs for it. I think that maybe a better option would be their Breezango. They're always going to be treated as comedy, even though I feel like Billie and Peyton can both work. I think that they're being told not to because they're just fodder at this point. We've seen Peyton and Billie be good in the ring in NXT. We've seen it happen. We know it's possible, but they're just being told, no, all you're there to do is come out, say things in your really loud, obnoxious Australian accents, get people to boo you so that they will cheer the people who beat you. That's it.
It's been their role. So during this match, we see a cutaway to Lacey Evans watching backstage. Sideways, of course.
Of course.
Nothing said, no promo, no terminology. That's how she shows up. Asuka, if Asuka's going to scream, this is how I like Asuka screaming. In her own language, throwing a fit, grabs Billie Kay by the hair. And I love that the referee just is like, might as well. I'm not saying no. Rings the bell. He's like, better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Let's just rock with this.
Yeah, let's just do this. Normally it takes an ad break and the commentator's saying, well, the general manager came out and made this match official during the break. But that doesn't happen now. No time for that. We must move forward.
I think Jason Ayers, the referee, was like, Vince gave us all power last month, so
I'm booking this stuff now. So
yeah, okay. It's up to me. Asuka wins this with the quickness. This is a squash. There's nothing here.
I love Asuka just screaming in Japanese. I think that's so cool. And the only thing that would make it perfect for me is to have Becky respond to her in English, because we know Becky spent time in Japan. There's not a stretch to think that she can understand Japanese, but doesn't speak it very well. I love the idea of Becky and Asuka having a feud where they yell at each other in their own language. And Becky could make it really, really funny. Like, don't say that about my mother. Like, there'd be a lot of fun stuff that she could make out of this thing by just being Becky. I think it'd be so cool. There is a program somewhere where somebody speaks a foreign language and the feud partner understands it, but speaks English back to them that is going to really, really hit the mark.
I think that should be the case with any language spoken to Becky. Yeah.
Yes. She understands all the world's languages.
The thing is, Cesaro could legit run that gimmick because he speaks like several different languages. That might be a funny one for him, but I just think that Becky could pull it off so much smoother. At the end of this segment, AJ Styles comes out, and the commentary team is like, what's going on? What's he doing out here? He's not supposed to be out here. Is he coming to confront Becky? Asuka? What? No. He's going to the concession stand, and for some reason, he had to go through Gorilla, have his music hit, walk down the ramp, and into the... I've been backstage enough to know you don't have to do that.
No, you don't. You can usually get to the concourse from
anywhere.
Yeah, from anywhere. It's an arena. It's not like Spinal Tap where they're running through going, "Hello, Cleveland," and Amaze in the basement.
AJ's up there to own the libs by eating some hot dogs, which I think is great.
I would have loved to have known what was going to happen between Becky and Asuka had AJ not just interrupted them. Like that was they were about to come to blows. What was going to happen? Oh no, sorry, ladies. A man has to have a segment. It felt like that, and I was like, come on. You could have come back from the break and had him be up on the concourse. You didn't need to do this.
I mean, I see what they were doing. They were trying to hook people around the commercial, see what was going on. I like this segment besides the shaky cam.
Yeah.
AJ's up there saying, I'm a man of the people. Here's some hot dogs. Here's some buns. Here's some merchandise. I see what he's doing. But a hooded Daniel Bryan attacks, and he gets put through a table. The mustard ketchup relish take a huge bump.
Yeah,
it was very good.
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan, I said, looked like Rake Yawn covered in mustard. If you remember that segment back in the day on the old, I think it was Jackass or CKY. Daniel Bryan covered in mustard. Later on, he tweeted useful facts about slaughtered pigs.
Yeah.
Which will legitimately get some people to go vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah, well, no, you can't watch those edited videos that PETA puts out of like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh, basically in a little cage that's 3 inches by 6 inches, and be like, oh no, bacon's awesome. I want bacon. So
full disclosure, I legit had bacon like 20 minutes later. I did. I really did.
But in fact,
evidence. Here's a small piece of the bacon that remains. It's a shoot bacon.
Shoot bacon. Listen, he's doing great stuff on Twitter as this obnoxious eco warrior thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
I wish it was the two sides weren't. Everything that you are doing is bad. The earth is dying, and you're all stupid for not trying to save it. Versus, hey, everybody, eat a hot dog. Like there's no middle ground. I think it's just weird.
Yeah, I rather enjoyed this segment. The next segment I titled in my notes, the Uso Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Which one's getting the love letters, Jimmy or Jay?
Jimmy.
Good, because that's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
He gets a love letter and a hotel key from Mandy Rose, and Jay is like, so what are you going to do? Now, first off, if I'm Naomi, I'm pissed at Jay for even saying that. What are you going to do? Pardon me, Senor Dickhead, but he's going to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to spend some time on this segment.
We are going to spend some time. But here's the thing is like, I understand why the camera's there, whatever, to start up this thing. Oh, here's this box. Let's open it. In front of the cameras, being broadcast live to everyone at the arena. Oh, wow. There's this hotel room key from Mandy Rose. What are you going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do, Oos. I mean, you could at least lie in the moment and say, well, obviously I'm not going to go to her hotel room. Why would I ever do that? Like, at least you could lie to us if it's going to be broadcast to everybody. But that's the thing with this is that I got a lot of people going, well, it's a TV show. It's a TV show. It's not real. And that's why there's cameras everywhere. Come on, man.
No. This ain't Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground completely ignores cameras.
Yes.
That's what they are. That's what they do. And apparently also ignore their roster's contract requests from what we hear.
It's true.
As well, too. Mandy backstage is being lectured by Sonya, which I think Sonya delivered her lines really well. She did. Keep getting reaffirmed of my desire to see Sonya Deville do more great things. I don't think that this line was written to be so dismissively petty, but the way that Mandy delivered it was perfect. She goes, Sonya, don't you know that I just don't like Naomi? And the best way to solve that is by breaking up her marriage? That is literally her saying, you know, what the best solution to this is throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, no.
It's fantastic. I love that part of it.
Yeah, the idea of, I just want to make her miserable. And what better way than by breaking up her marriage? And Sonya's like, really? Bitch, what? Like,
it's really good. I love that part. Uso's going to the hotel room, and there's a camera.
He's just right in front of his face.
So keep in mind, the camera's got to be facing him, moving backwards.
Yeah.
To the point where he probably can't see the numbers on the doors. And any normal human would say, hey, get out of my way. Can't see the numbers on the doors. Trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Uso goes into the hotel room. Mandy Rose is waiting there, sitting in the seat.
And also another cameraman.
Another camera, because the angle switches.
Yes.
So, man. So there are cameras there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the same cameras that film these interviews.
Yes.
In the same production, with the same lighting, all that stuff. So we know in canon, there's a cameraman there. There's two cameramen there. And soon, there will be a third cameraman there.
There's probably also a sound guy and a boom operator as well. There's probably like 6 or 7 guys standing there in the background.
So when people say to me, the same as you, it's a TV show, it's a TV show. Well, yeah, if they didn't acknowledge cameras all the time.
Yeah.
If they didn't say this happened on Raw last week.
Yeah.
I don't believe the characters ever say, I watched Lucha Underground last week, and like the cameras don't exist in that realm of things.
There's an easy way of getting around this if you guys had any kind of art to the show at all.
Just weren't lazy.
Yeah, they're just lazy. You could easily, because you don't have to do it live. I mean, I'm pretty sure this wasn't live. Tape it and get like the security camera feed of the hallway, him walking to the door, and then show Mandy setting up a hidden camera up in, on the nightstand or whatever, because she wants, this is her blackmail. Because the problem I have with this also is that we all know there are video cameras in the room videoing this whole thing, and then a dude runs in with a still photography camera, takes some shots, and runs away, and those are the blackmail, not the video we have of this whole thing. It takes still photography shots to be the blackmail. What? Like, how stupid do you think we all... it's just... You could make this work if you really wanted to do this stupid, what is obviously to me a Temptation Island tie-in angle.
I have somebody with the balls to say, did you have to make sense of the Braun Strowman flipping an ambulance angle? You did it. You just went with the ridiculous of it. What? They did not pretend that cameras weren't there.
Yeah, I know.
If Naomi's flipping an ambulance, I would have went with it more than this. For the love of God.
Yeah.
My God. So they got to ignore that cameras are there. Yes. Then another cameraman pops out. So he takes pictures, and Mandy Rose is like, gotcha. I didn't want you. I just wanted to piss off Naomi. And I'm thinking, she probably watches the show, Mandy.
Yeah.
And if Naomi said, hey, bitch, I watched the show, I'm not dumb, then okay, maybe I'd give it some leeway. But then that would make Mandy Rose dumb.
Yeah.
For not watching the show or not realizing there's a cameraman there.
Right.
My God. Try to make some sense of this, Alex.
Well, there is no sense to be made. That's so true, is that I've just revealed my evil plan to you, and surely no one will see this at all. And it's terrible. And like, Naomi can watch this episode on Hulu tomorrow and be like, oh, so my husband didn't cheat on me with you, even though these photographs you sent that are, come on. What are we doing here, people? There's a way to make this stupid, asinine story work.
Gwen Evans brought up on our chat, Paparazzi Productions and TNA Wrestling. That was literally a way to get around this.
Sure, do it.
GTV was a way to get around this.
You could do it, yeah.
Boy. So Naomi, well, Jimmy is like, okay, you're going to try to ruin my life? Whatever. I thought it should have been Jay. They should have pulled twin magic on her.
Yeah.
But Naomi runs in, tries to fight Mandy, and ends up getting beaten up. Mandy gets the better of it. Man. I'm impressed that there are so many people that are caping for this storyline.
Yeah, I know.
Keep in mind, another storyline where Mandy Rose strips off and she is wearing more than what her gear shows.
Yeah.
So we're 3 for 3 in that world of things right now.
Man, but I think the problem with it is that so many people, including myself, realized as they were promoting more and more of this Temptation Island thing that's going on right now on the USA Network, that this is the only reason they're doing it this way is to be that tie-in to the big new show on USA. Like, it was as though USA gave WWE a directive. Hey, can you figure out a storyline which involves around cheating on people and stuff? Because it just feels so obviously that, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I hadn't even thought, maybe this is a Temptation Island gimmick until somebody had mentioned it. But oh man, and that's on the screen to my left. I've seen that, and I was like, man, who asked for that show to come back? Who wanted that?
Yeah.
Oh well. EC3 is seen posing in a mirror backstage while Joe walks by. We also see Nikki Cross saying that she'll play with Rey when she sees him backstage.
See, now here's the deal. You opened this can of worms, WWE. Now I need a Nikki Cross versus Rey Mysterio match. I didn't need that before you decided to have Nikki backstage basically asking to play with Rey Mysterio. And now I need to see that match. You owe it to all of us. I expect you to pay up at some point.
Sure. Samoa Joe attacks Mustafa Ali before the bell in their planned match. I thought this was a nice way to take a match that didn't mean anything and wasn't going to mean anything and make it eventually mean something. Mustafa gets posted twice in spectacular fashion.
So did you read or hear the stuff from the Jericho interview with Mustafa Ali?
We've had several articles on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was just great. The idea that Vince told him, you get your ass kicked better than anybody. You give people have empathy for you because of the way that you take bumps and all this kind of stuff. He says, that's your thing. And Mustafa was like, okay. And so tonight he was like, I'm going to get posted better than anyone ever twice. And that's his deal. I think that's great. If he's decided that this is the directive I've gotten from the boss, that I'm going to elicit sympathy from the crowd by getting my ass kicked in very spectacular fashion, then this is the best way to do this. It's great. I love that he's taking a directive and running with it. And somebody was saying, I think it was our own Twitter account on Fightful was like, oh, this is great because it allows Ali the opportunity to work with a proven guy like Joe, and it allows Joe to win a feud, which he desperately needs. I'm like, hold on. This feud needs to build to a point where you think there's no way Mustafa can win, and then he does. Mm-hmm. Now, Joe can get his heat back right after that match, but Mustafa's got to win the eventual match that happens where he's able to actually have a match with Joe. That's just the way wrestling works, I feel.
Yeah, Joe, I think Joe would be better served at this point, moving to Raw after this. I think he's kind of been burned at both ends on SmackDown, and this feud should... And whatever he does at WrestleMania kind of be his farewell to SmackDown before he heads to Raw.
Yeah.
When you look at things, it's like, all right, he's had AJ, Bryan, and Mustafa. Unless SmackDown gets this huge influx of babyface talent as well. Otherwise, man, it seems like he just loses programs perpetually. But Mustafa made Joe look like $1 million in this. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And if you're asking for somebody to lay a beat down, Joe's going to be able to lay a beat down.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very good. Very good. Whew, what happened next? One of probably my favorite WWE television matches that I have ever seen in my life. Andrade, now no longer Andrade Cien Almas, defeated Rey Mysterio. Why do they got to shorten his goddamn name, Alex?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not upset about it, but I think one of the things that everyone seems to forget is that Andrade Cien Almas. Andrade Almas. Almas means souls in Spanish. Cien means 100. His name means 100 souls. I think that's the most badass nickname they never capitalized on. Like if he was like super heel and was like, I'm stealing 100 souls, and by the time I reach that, I'll be immortal. Like, you could do some really cool stuff with him, where, like, before he hits the hammerlock DD, he says, I'll swallow your soul, or something ridiculous.
What was Mil Muertes is what, 1 million deaths, I think?
1,000 deaths. That's what that
I think it's 1 million deaths.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Million. I'm going to assume.
Okay.
But, yeah, man, it's just so weird. They've done this with Cesaro and Harper and Rowan and Neville and Rusev and Elias and at one point Apollo. I don't get it. But if it's something that they've put a lot of research into and they figure it works, then hey, whatever. I can't pretend I've ever done a survey on that one. Never done any market research on that.
I think Andrade's fine. I feel like just if you're gonna pick one thing, just calling him Almas, I think is really cool. Just Almas. It seems like it's more like the Mas is right there in the name.
Rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Who am I to talk? I use 3 goddamn names, so whatever. You use one name, but you use it 4 times.
I do. It's my fault.
My God. This match starts off pretty slow, but there's good solid work. They made this match seem bigger than it really was earlier in the night. So let's walk through it. Mysterio misses a 619, almost misses his hammerlock DDT. There's a series of near falls that result, but Andrade's shoulders weren't down. There were some ref issues here.
Yeah.
The ref didn't count when Rey's shoulders were down, did count when Almas's weren't down. Other than that, man, this hit 9.25 out of 10 in my match ratings. I don't throw that's match of the year contender for me. They got 18 minutes here to really just go at it. And this was unbelievable. Almas counters a reverse Hurricane Rana over the top rope with a sit-down powerbomb on the floor. Filthy.
Yeah,
Back
filthy.
from commercial, Rey gets that great swinging DDT, gets hip tossed into the turnbuckle. Just something a little bit different. A hip toss into the turnbuckle, Alex. Where I saw that it was going to be something special was the Rey Mysterio Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Almost was on the apron. They took a dump to the ringside. They took a spill to the ringside. I won't say that they took a dump ringside anymore. At this point, it was very clear there was something special going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the thing: is that when they started, teasing stuff between these two, I was like, this is the match that I thought we would eventually get. I didn't think it would be like, oh, the second time you guys, second or third time you guys work together, you'll do this. To me, this is the match that Andrade, excuse me, I almost called him Almas, Andrade and Rey decided we're going to do this match on a random SmackDown. This is certainly not the end of the program. So they know, both of them, these veterans of the ring, know they have a better match in them when the stakes are higher. That's what's amazing to me, is that this was a match they just could do on a random Tuesday, as opposed to, let's say, if this thing extends and they have a match at Mania. Like, there's no telling where this feud can go from here. What we got tonight was all world, and I know it's not even close to the capacity of these guys. They did callbacks from last week's tag team match they were involved in. I mean, these two guys are absolutely at their peak. The idea that, like, Rey Mysterio is 44, no big deal, doing all this amazing stuff. And you forget, I don't know exactly how old Almas is, but he's been around. He's much younger than Rey, but he's been around. He knows what he's doing. These guys are so good together. I cannot wait to see what else this feud has in store.
This match just got better and better and better. That Rey Mysterio Hurricane Rana was psychotic. Rey gets a sunset flip power bomb. They are really emptying the cupboard here. After another commercial, we see a big drop kick from Almas. He does his back elbow, that double moonsault.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this match, despite all those spots, was Rey going for a Canadian Destroyer, which we have also seen Punishment Martinez and Matt Riddle do since then. So apparently the ban is up. I'm trying to find out, but I mean, obviously they did it in this match too. But Almas had it scouted and did an Alabama slam.
Yeah.
That was such a smart spot. Such a smart spot. Rey would get it moments later, and then a crucifix bomb pin as well. But Zelina causes a distraction. Almas wins with a rope hung hammerlock DDT. This is one of the greatest matches in SmackDown history.
Yes.
What we saw tonight.
Yeah, it really was. I think that I would have liked it more had the finish not been caused by a distraction. I don't like distraction finishes. I know it's just to further the storyline. It's my personal preference, but yes, this match again, it is one of the greatest matches in SmackDown history, and that's not to be said lightly. I mean, they just had their, whatever it was, 1000th episode a couple months ago. These guys, SmackDown's been around for a while. This is the best match on TV I can remember in a long time. That wasn't like a gauntlet match or a fatal four-way for the title or something. Like, it was just two guys having a singles match, nothing on the line but pride. Like, if you distill it down to that, this might be the best match in SmackDown history.
Yeah, I was just thrilled with this match. And yeah, I figured that Rey Mysterio and Andrade were going to have a great match. I mean, that's just what you're getting here, it is nothing short of miraculous what Rey Mysterio is able to do at this age. After the Rey Mysterio that we saw, the Rey Mysterio that got booed out of the arena when he was number 30 and Daniel Bryan wasn't. Like the fans were pretty much fed up with Rey at that point anyway. They were just like, yeah, there's nothing here.
Right.
He's special. This is the Rey Mysterio I grew up on. This is the Rey Mysterio that I saw. I mean, not to that degree, but that I saw work matches with Eddie Guerrero, and what was the greatest match I had seen at that point. He was the one that I saw in WCW and thought, man, he gives cruiserweight wrestlers, like even beyond cruiserweight wrestlers, real hope. It was very special. It's really awesome to see that now. Up next, we have The Miz celebrating Shane McMahon's birthday. Miz bought Shane McMahon Jordan 33s, which Shane McMahon is legitimately thrilled about. I like that Shane McMahon has been hesitant about all this, and he's like, Jordans? I'm down. Now I'm proud to be your partner.
Yeah.
It's like, he's basically saying, I can be bought.
Yeah, no, you can absolutely bribe Shane McMahon with shoes.
Yeah, that's what went down. And cakes, apparently. Custom cakes. Miz has a Shane McMahon highlight reel. It was good, as you would expect. WWE productions usually are, especially in these highlight reels. Shane does admit that he'll be proud to team with Miz at the Rumble. The Bar show up and troll McMahon and Miz, say that Vince didn't care enough to show up. But it's very clear, Alex. He didn't have any transportation. His only limo that he presumably owned was torn up.
Yeah, that's right. He owns this limo. Somebody told me that they put it in the back of a semi, and it just drives with all of the equipment from town to town in case Vince flies in. Then they bring it out of the back of that semi. It drives to the airport and picks him up. I'm like, okay, fine. That's also an option. But yeah, it's just too bad that Vince, they couldn't flip that car back over and then weld the door back on in time for him to get to his son's birthday celebration.
Well, Miz is volunteered to wrestle a match against Sheamus.
Yeah.
And Miz says, I'm in a suit, man. I can't do it. And Shane says, I wasn't dressed to compete when I won Best in the World. Plus, you're the Miz.
Right. But here's the deal. Whatever Shane was wearing when he won Best in the World was a hell of a lot closer to his regular ring attire than Miz's suit is to Miz's trunks.
Yeah. This match is pretty short. Sheamus puts a beating on Shane McMahon. Miz comes, or on Miz. Gosh, I am all over the place here. Sheamus puts a beating on the Miz. Miz, I love that he still uses some of Daniel Bryan's offense, even though he's a babyface.
Yeah.
Bryan is it. Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
I like it. Somebody in the chat is saying Ewing high 33s, best ever. Are you all? You better not be talking about Patrick Ewing's. Those shoes that look like they had an allergic reaction to bee stings. I swear, if you are, I might go on strike that someone who actually thinks that is tuned into my podcast. RITP Live, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying that. Those bumblebee sting sneakers you're wearing. Come on. Got me feeling some type of way. So Shane causes Cesaro to go off the apron through a table. Graves, who is on a roll this week, says, that tracksuit was nice. I thought that was a good touch. Miz wins with a roll-up. The best part of this, in my estimation, Alex, was Shane McMahon doing a coast-to-coast on TV, which doesn't happen that often. But Miz got the cake, and it was a coast-to-cake. I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Listen, sure, babyface Miz and the son of the owner of the company can be the tag title holders. Why not? It's par for the course of how seriously you really take tag team wrestling at this point. I mean, eventually, I believe you'll get back to actually allowing real tag teams to hold belts. But right now, this is fine. I mean, I can't begrudge that. Why not? I mean, happy birthday, Shane.
Yeah. Yeah. I posted a stat. This will be his first tag team title match since 1999.
Wow.
I like it. I'm okay with it. If everybody's going to be in the Royal Rumble, I'm okay with Shane McMahon getting this. And I have, comparatively speaking, to the other storyline that we saw threaded through this show in Mandy and Jimmy Uso, this has been harmless to me. It was a little fun, cutesy segment. I didn't hate it. Altogether, I thought that SmackDown Live was pretty solid. It was all right. But that match that we saw was amazing.
It's kind of noteworthy how bad so much other stuff has to be for a SmackDown that might have the best SmackDown match ever on it to be like, all right, like to bring down the average that much, the rest of it can't have been good, and it wasn't. I enjoyed Mustafa Ali taking a beatdown like nobody else, but it remains frustrating to me that they won't just let EC3 get in a ring with somebody, because that guy's really special. He really can be really special. This ain't the way.
EC3's specialty is TV star EC3 against excellent worker, and he has really good, entertaining matches that way.
Yep.
Well, guys, we hope you will also join us on FightfulSelect.com. That is our premium site, the sponsor of tonight's podcast. We do weekly 205 Live NXT review shows with Warren Hayes. We do dark match commentary every month, or an alternate commentary show, starting to bring you those with the actual video since WWE doesn't ask us to take them down. Every month, we have Fightful outtake and behind-the-scenes footage. You have access to our photo gallery. I do 2 Q&A shows a month. We do a retro review podcast every month. We have the Weekender podcast every single week where Steven Jensen talks non-WWE stuff from NWA to things that are on the former Powerbomb TV to AEW, all that good stuff. Also, every week, I have a show with exclusive information and news called the Fightful Report podcast, where I also go through the injury report, contract updates, contract expirations, all that. There's also a whole second tier. All that stuff I mentioned is just on tier 1. Tier 2 gets you shirts and merchandise. The Russo reveals clips throughout several months this year. The Stupid People extended segment, access to the Fightful Wrestling Weekly early. We do Jimmy Van's match archives, where he has a match every month from when he promoted wrestling, and he and I do commentary over top of it. You get a copy of his ebook. Lots of neat stuff over there. There are also tiers on up higher where you can guest on podcasts or pick topics on a podcast. I'm also posting news there all the time. Like every day, it seems like I'm posting new exclusive news for you guys to check out. Like I said, if you all don't want to subscribe to Fightful Select, maybe you don't have it in the wallet or whatever, I encourage you guys to leave us a nice iTunes review. That stuff helps out a lot, even if you don't watch or listen on iTunes. Also, we have an MMA and boxing channel, youtube.com/Fightful MMA Boxing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of this month. We are getting very close. Alex, what do you got going on this week?
Taking my daughter to the library for her first story time with other kids.
Ooh.
And we'll see how that goes, because she doesn't know how to share yet, because she doesn't have any brothers or sisters.
Sure.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I wish you luck in that situation. Guys, on Wednesday, I'll be here with Jimmy Van for List and Your Boy. This Saturday, I've got the UFC on ESPN show. I'm going to do a post show for that. We did the MMA podcast today. It is over on the MMA channel. Go check it out. Lots of stuff on that show. Until next time, guys, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe.